Hey game developers, Bilal from Zenfinity.net, and welcome back to another Unity tutorial. And in this one we're going to be implementing sword hit and swing sounds. Now this is actually a collaboration with Chad from my recording internship. And if you want to check out his channel, you can go ahead and click on the card in the top right, and he's actually going to have a video about how to create these sword sounds as he engineered these ones. So in this tutorial, we're actually just going to show you how to put them in the game, right? So I'll show you what this basic scene I have in front of me is, and I'll tell you all the assets that I actually got from the asset store to put this together, right? So this is actually from Melee Axe Pack, which is by Mixamo. It comes with this prototype humanoid and animations here, so you can see my character is now idling and holding the sword in some mildly funky way. So if I click, my character will swing, and you can see in the console it's printed something when it hit this cube in front of him. Right, so how this works is you can actually see in the scene view here, there's a mesh collider, a convex one, around the sword, and just whenever I click, the character animates this sword hit, and it will actually physically collide with the cube and, you know, trigger this. So what we're going to do is add these sounds in to our script here. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click on our player controller here. And I'm also going to open up our sword behavior in just a second here. Okay, so now that we have this script opened up, what I'm going to do next is first create an attribute for an audio source component that's attached to our character. I'll create an attribute for the actual clip, like the audio clip. And then I'll make some functions here so that we can call them, right? So to begin with, we'll write private audio source source. Actually, I'll call it audio source. And then we'll have a public audio clip, which is the sword swing, right? And I believe that should be it for now. So I'm going to go to our awake function here, and I'll say audio source equals get component audio source. Right, so we're grabbing our audio source so that we can play the sword swing here. I'm going to make a new function here. So public void play sword swing. Okay, and so what this will do is just say audio source dot play. And right before playing, what I'll do is, so that I can keep this a 3D sound, is audio source dot audio, I believe it should be, or actually clip, should equal sword swing. Okay, so the way that a default audio source works is that we need to store one clip in it, and then we can hit play. And this is for if we want noise to be played out of this specific audio source. Okay, so what we're going to do next is just go ahead and add this to our animation here. So make sure that you first select the character up here, and then go over to this animation, and then make sure I'm going to go ahead and look through here first, actually. And we see on our melee attack clip, and by the way, you can change animation clips here, as long as your animator has states that contain those animations. So I have a state for the attack and for the idle here. And so what I'm going to do is, again, select the attack, make sure that my character is selected, and I'm going to add an animation event at about, let's say right here. And this is going to be our play sword swing. Okay. Now I'm going to add an audio source to our character. I'll hit enter. And I'm going to check off play on awake, and I'm going to make this 3D. So now what we have to do is put in an audio clip for the sword swing. So I'm going to go ahead and drag in some audio files here. And with these audio files, for now I'm just going to pick one of them. So let's say sword swing, maybe whichever one of these. So let's go with sword swing 1. And I'll go ahead and drag sword swing 1 into our sword swing 1 here. And I'll hit play. And there, we can hear the sword swing, right? Of course, it's a little bit late, so let's go ahead and drag it back in the animation here. I'll click on the character, drag it back. Let's try that again. No, too early. And yeah, it's a bit short for how long the sword swing is, so one thing that I might want to do is just go ahead and, well, first I'm going to try this again. And now what I'm going to do is actually just go to our animator, and I'm going to speed up the animation. So let's say the speed is like 2. Let's play it maybe 3 times as fast. Okay, I'll hit play. And there. That's kind of more, it's a more fitting speed for the audio clip, so. I'll drag this at the beginning here. Okay, I'm going to replay the scene. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, so we have our sword swing in now. So what if we want to have a sword hit, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go back to our... Actually, I'm going to go to our sword behavior script here, which is on our falchion. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to our sword behavior. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just add a public audio clip sword hit, right? And what I'm going to do here is actually add in some functions for grabbing the audio source. Actually, private audio source. I'll do the same thing as we did last time with the awake function here. So audio source equals get component audio source. Boom. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is say, actually I'll make a function for playing, right? So private void play hit sound. And this will do exactly the same thing as last time, but with the new audio clip. So audio source dot clip equals sword hit. And then we'll just do audio source dot play, right? Okay. And I'll just drag this into here. So now whenever we hit, we should hear that sound, but first I want to make sure I actually drag it in here. I'll pick a sword hit sound. I like that one, let's go with that one. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click on the falchion again, and I'll drag in sword hit 4, and I'll hit play. And we don't hear it, so why don't we figure why that is. So we have it inside of our prefab here. We have it playing in our onTriggerEnter audio source.clip. Oh yeah, and it's because we don't have an audio source, right? So I'm going to go ahead and copy the audio source from our character. So I clicked on the character, and I'm right-clicking the audio source, and I'm hitting copy component. And on our falchion, I'm just going to hit, I'm going to right-click on any of these components, and I'll hit paste component as new. Okay, and we can actually probably hear it now. Yeah, so whenever it collides with the cube's trigger, we can hear that hit sound. Okay, so that's the basics of adding in like sounds for, you know, whatever. If you have an animation you want it to make a sound, and you use an animation event. If you have, you know, some collision and you want it to play a sound, you can just reference it in the script. There are other more interesting things that you can do, right? So what I often will do is when I have a bullet noise, maybe I have multiple bullet noises, and I'll have an array and select one randomly. And maybe I'll also switch the pitch a little bit, maybe by about like 0.1 or, you know, some small amount like that, so that it, you know, makes the sounds less static and makes the game more immersive, right? But that is actually going to be it for this tutorial. And if it helped you out, make sure to hit like and hit subscribe for more stuff like this, and maybe better stuff than this. And again, this is a collaboration with Chad from my recording internship. You can check out his channel, and you can also figure out how to make these sword hit sounds that we imported and used for the tutorial on his channel, so definitely check that out. And with that said, I will see you in the next tutorial, and have an awesome day.